Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here coming at you with another video. Today I have a grafting lab that I wanted to show you. Now this is one that I was working on for a little bit. It's worked okay. It may not be quite the way I wanted it. But as far as a quick, easy, cheap lab, all teachers love things cheap. We've got very few supplies. You need some print-offs of different types of grafts. You need, ooh, gotta love that sound. You need some straws. Bendy straws are fine. You want straws with different colors. You need a little bit of Scotch tape, some scissors, and some paper to tape things to. So the way that we're going to work this is we're going to have our students make grafts out of straws that represent grafts that we use in regular nursery work. So with this, the reason I chose straws is when we're dealing with the cambium layer of a tree, that cambium layer is only 6 to 8 cells thick, so it's very, very small. So when we use something like a straw where we've got a little tiny ring, that means our students have to be really accurate and line things up really, really well. So with this, again, scissors, tape, straw, paper, and you've got this lab. Let me explain how this goes, and we'll start over here with the cleft graft. So this is some 1/2 inch like copper pipe wrap. This is the foam stuff that you'd use to insulate copper pipe. What I have my students do is this is going to simulate our rootstock that we're going to graft into. So they're going to come in and they're going to make 2 cuts on either side of that foam. Okay, and that is going to simulate our cut there. And then they're going to take their straws. And you can use just the same color straw for this one. They're going to cut them in half, so they have 2 pieces for our scion material that we're adding. And then they're going to make their cuts. Now a saddle graft, we need to make both of these come down to the same angle. So I'll cut here so you can see it. We're going to make a point. Okay, we're going to make those come down to a point. So a nice long point there for our graft. Okay, so it should look about like that. Now, the straw is representing where our cambium layer is on our scion material. So I'll then have my students come in to where the cleft, where they've done that cleft cut. Let's do this one, it looks a little bit better. And they're going to line that up so that our cambium layer is right there on the outside of our foam. And it's going to make our cut it's going to make our graft just like we had planned it if we were doing a regular piece of rootstock. Then they can come in with a piece of tape and they're going to secure that in there, making sure that they have it lined up right to the outside edge. Okay, and then they just repeat that on the opposite side for the other part of their cleft graft. There's a couple others. You can kind of see some of the other ones here. I've got the student names blocked out. But we have like our splice graft, we have our side veneer graft. Some of these down here are the whip and tongues, and then we even tried to simulate a bud graft. That one didn't work quite as well, so you're probably going to have to stick with the regular ones. So let me show you how we were going to do that for a splice graft. So our splice graft, we're going to cut our scion material like so. And then we want them to get the same angle on both of our straws. So they're going to come in here and they're going to try to get that same angle on both of their straws. Let's see if I can match it on that same angle. Okay, so we've got that. Look at that. Look at those cambium layers line up just like that. Okay, so they're then going to take those and just like a regular splice graft, they're going to take tape, like we would take grafting tape, and they're going to tape those together where we can see those. Okay, tape those pieces together like that so we can see that graft, and then they're going to take that and tape it to their paper. The cleft grafts, we've kind of leave those off the paper because they're kind of hard. Those I just have them set off to the side. But they're going to add their graft to their paper. They'll put their student name on it. The other one that's kind of an interesting one, we're going to do a side veneer graft, and we do this one just about the same way. So we're going to cut our scion material, then we're going to cut our rootstock, and we're going to come in and make our cut just like we would with a side veneer. We're going to go down into there, right, removing our bark material. Then we're going to cut across for our bottom piece. It's going to leave our little notch, just like we would have it on our regular graft. And then we're going to come in, so that's our rootstock. And we're going to come in and we're going to add, let's get this red one here. We're going to come in and we're going to add our scion material. So I'm going to come in here, going to do that nice steep cut all the way across. There is our scion material. And we go in and we have them line that up. And I found that it's kind of useful to have them kind of get those two straws to come together, right? So they're going to try to match those veneers up, or not the veneers, the cambium layer for that veneer graft. Then they're going to tape it together. Some of these you might just want to set them off to the side and tape them, or you can tape them together either way. And there's our next graft. And then we have them complete that with all of our different sets of grafts. I've got the bud graft missing out of here, but we just had, oh, here's the bud graft. This is the one that didn't work quite so well. We tried, it's going to require two straws, one inside of the other. See if I can show you how we did that one. We'll do this one real quick, because we need to have a thin layer and a thick layer. Put one inside the other. Okay, so we've got that in there. And we're going to come down, and this is going to simulate our T cut. So we're going to come in here with the scissors, simulate our T cut, like that. So this represents our material in the back. There is a T cut right there. And we can take our bud, which is this piece here. What we did is we cut a piece of straw so that we remove just a little bit of it so it'll wrap around and stay in our spot. And find our cut again right there. We're going to come in, and this one's a little bit trickier. Again, I wasn't super happy with this one, but I was trying my best for us to simulate it. And then this comes in and it slides down, and you pull the yellow piece back. But if you line the blue up, they can see that they've got that bud in there. Okay, so that's our bud, that's our rootstock. This is going to be the top of our rootstock there. Okay, so that one's a little bit tricky. It didn't come true as much as we wanted it to. Of course, we put her back on the paper and we tape her down, and then the student will go ahead and, of course, label all of those. So this was a quick lab that I came up with, and I felt it was a good way to do just kind of a one-day lesson on grafting where they get a chance to experiment with it. The good thing is we're using things that are familiar. We're using drinking straws, tape, paper, and scissors. It's a lot easier to have your students in there making angled cuts with scissors than it is with grafting knives, especially if your administration frowns on having knives in school. So those of you that are interested, my ag teacher folks out there, if this works for you, go ahead and feel free to use it. But this is a drinking straw grafting lab. So I hope you learned something today. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.